Okay, so Apple just announced iOS 18. So let's talk about the top 8 best features. Okay, so let's get started with number 8, a redesigned photo app. So this new Photos app redesign is first and foremost a UI update, so it just looks better. But then there's also some new features, like sorting your trips so you can find photos from them more easily, or searching a photo by just describing it. And I really like these features, especially the latter option. Okay, so number 7, new features in Messages. So in Messages, you can now add text effects to certain words to highlight them. And then there's also new reactions. For example, you can use an emoji as a reaction, or they also updated the existing ones. And then there's also Genmoji, a feature which lets you make your own emojis, which is part of Apple Intelligence, which we'll talk about in a minute. One last super cool feature is message via satellite. And you might be thinking, don't we already have that? And the answer would be, yes, we do. But you could previously only use it for emergencies. And now you can use it whenever you don't have signal. Okay, number 6, more options for action button and change the buttons on the lock screen. Okay, so you recognize these buttons? Well, you haven't been able to change those buttons since they released. And now not only can you change them, but third-party developers can also develop for them. So you can set these buttons to anything the action button can do. And since third-party developers can develop for it, that means the action button can also use these. So it improves upon the action button and helps make your lock screen just a little bit better. Okay, so number 5, a redesigned mail app. Okay, so I use Gmail because Apple Mail is one of the worst designed apps I've ever seen. And I'm talking about UI alone, because Gmail also leagues ahead of them in features. And one of their biggest features is that they sort out promotions and junk mail from the regular mail. And now in iOS 18, Apple Mail will be getting a very similar feature, where you'll have 4 different inboxes. Primary for time-sensitive and personal mail, transactions for delivery updates and receipts, and then updates for newsletters and social media updates. And then promotions for your junk mail and marketing mail. And then you can also switch specific senders to different categories. Like I'll probably switch my newsletters to my primary inbox. Number 4, more home screen customization. So on your home screen, you can now place apps anywhere. Whether that's at the bottom or the sides, they'll snap anywhere now. And they now also have a dark icon. And you can tint that icon any color you'd like. There's also one more option no one's talked about, which is to make apps slightly larger and then remove the names underneath them, which I think looks great. Number 3, a new control center. The new control center has way more customization and way more controls. For customization, you can move stuff around to more places, and you can make controls bigger to show more information. And like I was talking about earlier with action button and lock screen buttons, those controls actually stem from the control center, so you can control them in the control center too. And the control center now has multiple pages. The main one, and then the second one is music, and then the third one is smart home. Number 2, RCS support. Apple confirmed that RCS support will be coming with iOS 18. This will allow you to do a lot of things, like send larger files like videos to your friends with Android phones. If you want to learn more about this and why Apple's doing it, there's a great video by a guy named Central Production that explains this very well. You can find it right here or in the link in the description. And finally, number 1 is a group of AI features Apple calls Apple Intelligence. So yes, they rebranded artificial intelligence to Apple Intelligence, which is hilarious. Okay, but what can it do? Well, there's a lot of stuff it can do. So let's talk about its top 5 best features. Starting with number 5, priority notifications. This can determine how important a notification is, and then if it's really important, it can highlight it to make sure you see it. Number 4, writing tools. Writing tools are a group of 4 features that assist in writing, like Rewrite. Rewrite rewrites your text in multiple different ways, and then you can pick which version you like best. With rewrite, you can also change the tone of your writing to be friendly, professional, or concise. You can also just describe how you'd like it to be rewritten. Like Apple's example was if you have a party invitation to your friends, you can have it be rewritten to read like a poem. Another part of writing tools is proofread, which looks over all your text and then shows you any mistakes, and then you can fix all your mistakes with one click of a button. And then that brings me to number 3, summarization. Apple Intelligence can summarize what you write, and it can even summarize it into different types, like a basic summary, lists, bullet points, or a table. It can also summarize other stuff besides just what you write. It can summarize a Safari web page, or it automatically summarizes your mail. Number 2, ChatGPT integration. So let's straighten some things out about this. Some idiots have gotten this very wrong. So Apple Intelligence is its own AI model. It's just not really comparable to ChatGPT because ChatGPT runs on a server and is massive, where most of Apple Intelligence is able to run on device. It is a smaller model so that it can run on device. ChatGPT is only really being used for things Apple Intelligence can't do by itself, yet. For example, writing tools can use ChatGPT to write a story. Or if you're asking for a recipe, Apple Intelligence can just go ask ChatGPT instead of saying,
"Here's what I found on the internet."
Or it can also do things like analyze photos with ChatGPT. And you can do all of this for free without having to link a ChatGPT account. They've also done a lot for privacy, like not being forced to link a ChatGPT account, hiding your IP address, and then they also give the bare minimum details to ChatGPT. Plus, the integration is totally optional to have on. And even if you do have it on, it'll ask you every time if it's okay to ask ChatGPT, even if you don't want it to. And I think this is a really good feature that can help it answer more questions, and it can make it not have to say,
"Here's what I found on the internet"
anymore, which is amazing. Okay, but the number one thing Apple Intelligence can do is make Siri the best voice assistant of all time. With Apple Intelligence, Siri can respond way more naturally and be way more contextually aware. Want some examples? Here's some of the best examples from Apple's keynote.
What's the weather tomorrow morning at Muir Woods?
The forecast is calling for clear skies in the morning near Muir Woods National Monument.
Create an event for a hike there tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Hike is scheduled for 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on June 11th.
Siri, when is Mom's flight landing? What's our dinner plan?
How can I write a message now and have it be delivered tomorrow? Show me my photos of Stacy in New York wearing her pink coat, and Siri will bring those right up. Then you might say, "Make this photo pop," and Siri will enhance it, just like that. Add this to my note with Stacy's bio, and it will jump from the Photos app to the Notes app to make it happen. So you might ask Siri to take a Light Trails video in Pro Camera by moment. Or ask Siri to share a summary of your meeting notes in an email you're drafting to a teammate in Superhuman.
If you need menu ideas for an elaborate meal to make for friends using some freshly caught fish and ingredients from your garden.
Epic, right? Okay, so you may now want to know when iOS 18 is coming out. Well, it's releasing publicly in September. It's releasing today as a developer beta, and in a month as a public beta. That's what I'll probably be doing. But Apple Intelligence releases as a beta in September when iOS 18 publicly releases, and then it releases as a developer beta this summer. You may also be wondering what devices support iOS 18 and Apple Intelligence. For iOS 18, it's the iPhone XS and later. And for Apple Intelligence, right now it says the iPhone 15 Pro series or later, or any iPad or Mac with a M series chip. But don't panic if you don't have an iPhone 15 Pro, because they also showed off a new secure way to use AI models in the cloud. And hopefully, older devices that are incompatible will just do that. Because there's no way they'll leave the HomePod with old Siri. Right? Well, this has been super fun. This is my favorite video I've made so far. I've been working on this video since the 11th. It's now the 22nd and I just finished editing. I worked really hard on this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. And subscribe and I'll see you next month. Peace.